A standard asphalt shingle roof lasts roughly 15 to 25 years before it starts to fail. When it does, homeowners write a check for $8,000 to $15,000 for a full replacement. We treat this as an accepted routine of property ownership, but the environmental cost of this system is equally systemic. Every single year, 20 million tons of toxic petroleum-based roofing waste is stripped from American homes and dumped directly into landfills. Now, look at the western coast of Norway around 900 AD. Snow falls 5 months out of the year, winter temperatures plunge well below zero, and the summer sun barely sets for weeks. The climate actively punishes any structure built here. To survive this environment, Viking farmers engineered a roof entirely out of living earth. It required zero maintenance, healed its own physical damage, and lasted for centuries. The historical evidence remains intact. Original sod structures built using these exact techniques still survive today in Scandinavian open-air museums, entirely defying the short lifespans of modern materials. Inside these buildings, generations of families maintained warm, habitable conditions straight through some of the harshest winter weather on Earth. Humanity successfully perfected a self-sustaining, nearly indestructible roofing technology a full millennium ago. Our current reliance on failing synthetic materials is an engineered downgrade. The structural foundation of the Viking roof relied on heavy, steep timber rafters. Builders used pine or spruce, laid at an aggressive pitch to bear the immense weight of wet, heavy snow loads that would instantly collapse a modern home truss. Over split planking, they laid their waterproofing membrane, 6 to 8 overlapping sheets of birch bark, specifically harvested in the spring when the sap allowed it to peel in wide, flexible strips. Birch bark naturally contains butylene, a chemical compound that actively repels water and prevents rot. They layered the sheets with the waxy side facing up, creating a breathable barrier that outperformed modern synthetics. On top of the bark went 8 to 12 inches of living earth, stacked in a precise dual-layer method. The first layer of soil was placed grass side down to protect the bark. The second layer went grass side up. In summer, this setup initiated a biological process called evapotranspiration. The root system drew up trapped water and evaporated it off the grass leaves, pulling intense solar heat up and away from the interior of the home. In winter, that same 12-inch block of dense soil acted as massive thermal mass. Heat migrating from the dwelling was trapped and held within the earth layer beneath the accumulating snow, achieving thermal resistance values between R20 and R40. The acoustics offered another advantage. Instead of the loud drumming effect you hear under a modern metal or asphalt roof, the dense layer of earth absorbed the impact of heavy rain and hail, deadening severe storm noise into a dull murmur. The root matrix also absorbed and retained up to 80%. A seemingly cheap $5,000 upfront cost turns into $45,000 over multiple forced replacements. As the industry modernized, building codes and insurance underwriters essentially outlawed living roofs. The regulatory forms required standard test ratings and manufacturer warranties, and an ecosystem made of grass and soil had neither. The Viking roof disappeared because a structure that lasts a century and repairs its own damage destroys the recurring revenue model of a massive modern industry. The evidence remained buried until the early 2000s, when major institutions like the National Research Council of Canada finally began field testing green roofs against modern standards. The data was undeniable. They recorded summer heat flow reductions between 70 and 90%, and found that the living layer dramatically extended the lifespan of the waterproof membrane beneath it. This scientific rediscovery triggered an architectural shift across Europe. Germany quickly took the lead, installing over 86 million square meters of living rooftops. The adoption eventually hit North America. In 2009, Toronto became the first city on the continent to legally mandate green roofs on new building construction. Other major urban centers immediately followed suit. Copenhagen, France, and Singapore passed their own aggressive legislation to require rooftop greenery. Integrating biological Viking-style roofs is no longer a historical curiosity. It is a formally recommended, legally mandated climate survival strategy for modern megacities. You can apply these exact principles to your own home right now. without needing the heavy structural engineering of a medieval longhouse. For a flat or low-slope roof, the modern equivalent is the modular sedum tray system. These pre-planted trays snap directly into place for $10 to $25 a square foot. They cut your summer cooling load by up to 75% and triple the lifespan of the underlying waterproof membrane. For pitched roofs, applying an elastomeric white roof coating achieves thermal reflection. This slashes surface temperatures by 50 to 60 degrees on a hot afternoon. Combine that reflective coating with a cheap radiant foil barrier in your attic, and you easily replicate the core passive cooling principles of the ancient world. The earth and basic physics remain the best building materials available. By looking backward at proven engineering, we can stop funding products designed to fail and reclaim our financial and thermal independence.